I see that once again, the responsibility to teach my fellow LEGO fans falls to me. The trouble with LEGO Wicked is, they always seem to include mini dolls. Believe me, I've been burned by enough sets to know. They want you to buy less boxy, more skinny figures. But I say, why invite changing? Stop studying strife and learn to live the unexamined life. Building Lego. Okay, I'm not actually going to sing for the rest of this video. I'll spare myself and the audience from that torture. Anyways, happy Wicked release week, everyone. Wicked for Good is premiering in theaters this week. I already have my tickets for the Thursday night opening showtime. I cannot wait. I'm so pumped for this film. Around this same time last year, the first Wicked flick took the world by storm. And to celebrate the release of that movie, I made a video going through every LEGO Wicked and the Wizard of Oz figure ever made up until that point in time. Well, that video was very popular here on the channel, so a sequel was in order, especially with the release of some exciting new Wicked figures this year. So, without further ado, I present to you every LEGO Wicked figure ever made, Part 2. For good. Keep in mind, today's video is only focusing on the 2025 Wicked figures. If you'd like to learn more about the 2024 figures and everything that preceded those, check out last year's video. Now, let's travel back to the wonderful world of Oz. Like 2024, LEGO made some Wicked sets based on the new movie focused heavily on mini dolls this year. If you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you know that I don't like mini dolls. In fact, you could say I have an unadulterated loathing towards them. Every little trait, however small, makes my very flesh begin to crawl with simple, utter loathing. And unfortunately for this witch, Wicked mini dolls returned this year with 4 new sets based on the sequel film. However, only a couple of new characters have been added to the fold of the collection we got last year. The most notable of those characters is Bok, who was included with set number 75690, Glinda and Elphaba Visit Munchkin Land. This figure is a prime example of my frustration with mini dolls. I would have absolutely no clue who this was without being explicitly told on the box. It looks nothing like Ethan Slater's take on Bok to me. The other new character featured this wave is a flying monkey from set number 75689, Emerald City and Kiamiko Castle. Now, we have seen flying monkeys before in LEGO. You can learn more about that in last year's video from the Wizard of Oz. This one is a different mold than before, and the colors are a little bit too vibrant if you ask me when compared to the film, but it makes for a pretty good toy, and it actually kind of fits in with normal minifigures and doesn't seem too subjected to the mini doll styling. Now, the remainder of the mini dolls released here in 2025 are just repeat characters from last year, but in new outfits. 2025's Sexiest Man of the Year, Jonathan Bailey, congrats on that prestigious honor, gets another doll figure for his character Fiero in set number 75687, Elphaba's Retreat. And similar to Bok, just looking at this figure, I don't see Jonathan Bailey whatsoever. The male mini dolls especially just look so off in my opinion. Michelle Yeoh's character, Madame Morrible, who lives up to that name in these films, receives a new dress in the set number 75688, Glinda's Wedding Day. And that's it for non-Elphaba/Glinda mini dolls this time around. And look, let's be real. Nobody really cares that much about these side characters. Maybe Fiero just a little bit because Jonathan Bailey is the Sexiest Man of the Year. But besides that, let's now focus on the 2 biggest players in the Wicked franchise. Starting off with Elphaba, who gets 3 new doll figures this year. The first is from set number 75687 in her black coat over her dress and her hair exposed with no hat. The second figure she has, from what I can tell, the same exact printing, but they have added her hat and they also give her a shoulder pad attachment. Very 80s retro vibes here. And those accessories carry over to her final figure. But this one does not feature the print of the coat. It's a different just dress print this time around. And honestly, pretty sneaky of LEGO to make 3 very slightly different variations of the main character across these sets for fans to collect. Good thing I hate mini dolls and won't be buying any of these. Now let's switch gears and talk about the character that I'm absolutely obsessulated with.
I'm obsessulated.
And that, of course, is Glinda, portrayed by Ariana Grande in these films, and she is so good in this role. And Glinda gets some fabulous fits to showcase in this film with these mini dolls. I mean, come on, y'all. Look at this wedding dress. Like I said, I loathe mini dolls, but even this looks good. I just wish we had a minifigure of it. Additionally, 2 variations of the violet dress she wears in For Good that's been featured very heavily in the marketing were made here as well. The one found in set number 75689, Emerald City and Kiamiko Castle, has a smaller mold for her dress attachment, while the version that comes in set number 75690, Glinda and Elphaba Visit Munchkinland, is much wider at the bottom. And both are exclusive to their respective sets. So just like Elphaba, there are 3 new exclusive variations of Glinda mini dolls spread across this wave. And there you have it. Those are all the new Wicked mini dolls. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's video. Have an excellent rest of your day.
Everyone, I have an announcement.
Wait, what? Wicked minifigures? Minifigures, not mini dolls. Minifigures are here. This is not a false alarm. Wicked figures are real in 2025. Sometimes your dreams do come true, y'all. Oh my goodness gracious. Even though it's just 2 sets with builds that I don't really care that much about, I am just so happy we actually have Wicked minifigs. So let's go down to the Ozdust Ballroom and take a closer look. Like I said, all of these figures come in 2 separate 18+ sets. One based on 2024's Wicked, and then one based on the new film 2025's Wicked For Good. And it seems like LEGO wised up and realized the adult crowd ain't buying these sets for mini dolls. So instead we got 2 18+ sets made for display with mini figures. That said, neither build has anything curated for figures, but there are plethoras of characters included with each product. The first is set number 75691, Glinda and Elphaba Bookends, which is based on the first Wicked flick from last year. And of course, Glinda and Elphaba make their minifigure debut here, and I could not be happier, especially with Glinda using that relatively rare dress piece from collectible minifigures that's double wide at the bottom. That was a spectacular choice. Also, her hairpiece and her tiara look perfect. This is one of my favorite minifigures of the entire year, and you'll see it next month in my top 25 figures of 2025 list video. So be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that. Elphaba is slightly less interesting simply because we've gotten Wicked Witch of the West minifigures in the past, but it's nice to have the Cynthia Erivo variation of the character in LEGO form, and they make especially a good use of the hair hat combo piece introduced last year. I actually recommended LEGO do this in my video last November, so chalk that up as another point for my incredible LEGO foresight. Now, luckily for us, several other Wicked players were included with this set as well, beyond just Glinda and Elphaba. Starting off with Madame Morrible, Michelle Yeoh's first proper LEGO minifigure. She has an absolutely lovely dress print featured here. Jonathan Bailey went from 0 LEGO minifigures to 2 in the span of a few months. First with Dr. Loomis from Jurassic World Rebirth, and now with Fiero from Wicked. Unfortunately for the sexiest man of the year, this is by far the least detailed minifigure in this set, but nice to get nevertheless. Bowen Yang's character Fanny? Is that how you pronounce pronounce this name? Honestly, I have no idea. This wasn't really a character I was dying to get in any of these sets. However, the face print looks exactly like Bo and Yang. They nailed the graphic design there, and I'm sure SNL fans are thrilled to have this figure. Last but not least, the impeccable Jeff Goldblum gets a figure on his take of the Wizard of Oz here as well, who looks super dapper with his top hat, and he gets dual molded legs to boot. Obviously, our two main witches are the highlight here, but I'm so happy LEGO delivered a robust minifigure lineup for this set. And there is one more set we need to discuss. Now, fair warning, this set has some spoiler-y details regarding the upcoming film. Obviously, this stuff is featured in the set and the trailers, so I don't think Universal is mad at anybody finding out. And if you've seen the stage play or read the book, you know this stuff as well. But if you're really trying to avoid any and all plot details about Wicked for good, maybe click off the video and come back later. Now, the set in question is number 75685, Emerald City Wall Art. The Wicked for good outfits for Elphaba and Glinda we saw throughout the mini doll sets are included here. Elphaba wears the black dress and coat with shoulder pads, and Glinda gets her lavender colored dress. They both look pretty fantastic and are honestly the main reason I'd want to buy this set. Otherwise, I don't really care that much about this build, and I might just order these two figures separately. The other 3 figures and 2 animals are where things get a little bit tricky for this set, and this entire video series here has come full circle. The main characters from The Wizard of Oz, featuring Dorothy and her trusty dog Toto, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and finally the Cowardly Lion are all included here. Now, if you watched last year's video, you'd know that LEGO already made minifigures based on these characters' appearances in the 1939 film as part of the LEGO Movie 2, the second part figure series. And honestly, those old figures are way better. However, the outfits for these characters aren't exactly the same in Wicked for Good, and I think LEGO did a pretty solid job at interpreting their now modern designs. However, I find it very odd that the 2019 figures had nose prints for the Scarecrow and the Tin Man, but the 2025 figures elected to leave that off. I know traditionally LEGO figures don't have noses, but those characters just look weird without their specific nose details. Easily the biggest difference in these figures though is obviously the Cowardly Lion, who is being depicted as an actual lion in the new Wicked film, as opposed to an anthropomorphic lion character in the original Wizard of Oz. And LEGO made a brand new mold for him here in 2025, which certainly was a treat. And there you finally have it. Those are all of the LEGO Wicked figures ever made. For good this time, I think. Which one of these minifigures is your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below. This has been a Brickology Productions video essay. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace out. God bless. Bye-bye.
If there are no further questions, I'm gonna go.